Hello everyone. This will more than likely be my last Fallout 4 recording. Like any of my Fallout 4 recordings, this will be unscripted. In this recording, I will be giving my opinion or feedback regarding the game. I will be giving this opinion or feedback based on my experience with the Fallout series and as a Twitch streamer. I will leave my opinion for the Twitch side towards the end. For now, let's get started with Fallout 4. We were made aware of Fallout 4 in 2009 or 2010 when a Bethesda employee posted on Reddit that they were working on Fallout. It is fair to say that at minimum Fallout 4 has been in development for 5 years. I do not think this was enough time for the game. So let's look at the individual issues with the game. The first issue I wish to cover is the leaks. Before this game was even launched in North America, the entire game was leaked. The entire storyline was readable by anyone before the game was even downloaded. I think that this issue came about because of two factors. First factor being Bethesda themselves, and the other factor being the people involved. Bethesda gave Fallout 4 early to media and other beta testers. As for the people side, the issue there was that a lot of stores in Europe broke embargo and handed out the game earlier than some of the other countries. I do not know what the fix is for this issue, however, I think that Fallout 4 will be a lesson for game developers in the future. I hope that these game developers later on will learn from these lessons and not allow something like this to happen again. Based on the leaked information, I was made aware of the perks and the difficulty settings before the game was even launched. I appreciated the different difficulty settings. I think it made Fallout 4 more challenging than Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas was very easy even on hardcore setting. So I appreciate that there was a challenge. The perk chart, I think, was a great improvement. It made it easier to find the perks that you wanted, and it let you know at what point would you get those perks. In Fallout New Vegas, you had to scroll through your perks, and I felt that that was a more annoying system. So that was a definite improvement. The perks themselves had a lot of interesting and new ones in the chart. I think that a lot of the perks were useless, however. If they weren't useless, it only made the game confusing. The crafting perks were not very descriptive. There was too many crafting perks in the chart and not enough information. When I first played Fallout 4, I did not know which crafting perks I needed to accomplish my build. I did not like that aspect. As for the perks that I felt were not useful, I think that they should have been replaced by perks that would have been more useful. For example, I think that they put too many VAT perks into the chart. I think they should have removed some of these VAT perks and added in perks that would help. An example would be to bring back Nuka-Cola Scientist or something like that from Fallout New Vegas. Nuka-Cola Scientist, I think was the name of it, I can't remember, but it allowed you to make Nuka-Cola Quantums. Nuka-Cola Quantums were used to make Nuka-Cola grenades. So something like that would have been great to have back. I would have preferred that over the VAT perks. The next thing I wish to look at is the guns and the ammo. In Fallout New Vegas, there was a wide variety of guns, anywhere from a light machine gun to a minigun. In Fallout 4, there wasn't that much of a variety. They gave you a few base models and allowed you to mod them. I think they should have added more guns to the game so that we could mod them and have a much wider variety to work with. I would have appreciated having the light machine gun back. I think it would have given a alternative for a rapid fire weapon as well as a large capacity weapon for the game. It would have allowed us to have a weapon larger than a submachine gun but smaller than a minigun. As for the ammo, I think they did the right thing by taking away the different ammo types. In Fallout New Vegas, it was a headache trying to figure out if you needed to bring armor-piercing ammo, incendiary ammo, or one of those. By taking that away and making the armor penetration based on either the mods or the perks made things a lot easier. The issue with the ammo system, however, was that there wasn't enough ammo to sustain some builds. I noticed this in my Fallout playthrough with the laser rifle. At the very end of the game, I had around 2,000 rounds for the laser rifle. I only used the laser rifle perhaps once or twice. So, based on my experience using other guns, I came to the conclusion that this was not enough ammo to sustain you through the game. This conclusion came about because of my use of the 10mm and pipe rifle. I used those two weapons for roughly 20 levels. I went through somewhere over 2,000 rounds for each gun. The amount of ammo you need to sustain yourself through the game is quite a bit. Unfortunately, some weapons like the laser rifle did not have that much ammo to work with. I think this could have been fixed had they brought back the ammo workbench from Fallout New Vegas. There was a lot of junk in Fallout 4 that could have easily been used to make more ammo for a particular weapon. The next thing I wish to cover is the armor. I appreciated that the armor was divided. There was different pieces so that you could get different bonuses from those pieces. The undergarment system I thought was another great addition. The downside to both of these, though, was in the fact that the armor helmets did not have that level of customization that the individual armor pieces had. You could not add, say, a gas mask to a combat helmet. As for the undergarments, they gave you a lot of different looks or visuals to your character, but for the most part, there was only one undergarment that actually gave you protection. That was the Vault 111 jumpsuit. I did not find any undergarments that gave you the level of protection that a Vault 111 jumpsuit gave you. It forced me a little bit to use the Vault 111 jumpsuit for the entire game. This did not give me a lot of variety, I guess is where I'm trying to go with this. The power armor was another interesting attempt that I think needed more work. I liked the fact that the power armor was more in depth, and that it was certainly more powerful than previous Fallouts. The issue with it, I thought, was that you had to loot power armor that you found and bring it back to the power armor workstation. These pieces had to be in your inventory for the power armor to update. I did not like that. I think they could have improved this by making a click system. Whenever you found a new power armor type, you could click on it and it would add it to the list of power armor available. That would have made things a lot easier. The other issue is the fusion cores. The fusion cores weren't as numerous at the beginning, forcing you to rely on other means for protection. Later on, you got more fusion cores, but by then it really didn't matter, and you didn't really need power armor at that point. I think they could have fixed it by adding the ability to craft fusion cores. Most people tell me that this would make it too overpowered. My response to those comments is that it's part of the game. It would not be overpowered. And the reason for that is because there is a few perks that involve power armor. When you make power armor more or less a gamble, rather than an actual item to use, then essentially those perks become a gamble too. So at that point, the perks become worthless when you don't have a reliable system. Saves on Fallout 4, I was expecting to have an improvement to. Like the older Fallouts, the save system put all your saves into one big list. I think that they should have moved to a profile system. What I mean is something like Mass Effect. In Mass Effect, you had a career profile, and that career profile saved any of those files under that profile, so it became like a folder. And I think that that system is more organized. I was expecting Fallout to have something like that. As far as starting the game, there was not really a tutorial in that regard. There was not a lot of information regarding the crafting system and building colonies. The guns themselves had virtually no description in terms of what magnification a scope was or things of that nature. The colonization system was a headache in itself. I think that while it was a good idea, there was a lot of room for improvement. The colonization system took too long to actually accomplish what you needed to do in most cases. The fix for this, I think, would be to make it so that the colony build system is top-down rather than first-person. When you make a build system first-person, that means you have to move said object and yourself to the location to place it. And top-down, you could look at the area that you wish to set it down and place it there. A top-down version would have been easier to place things rather than a first-person, because then I could actually see if the wall was put in correctly. The colonization system did not really have a lot of information in terms of total food possible from a settlement, what to make for settlers so they could be happier, how to prevent unhappiness. There's a lot of things that weren't talked about. That definitely needs an improvement. As far as the materials to make everything, that also need an improvement. You could store all the materials you needed at a workbench within the settlement. During the first portion of the game, until you unlock the local leader perk, you do not have a trade route. So any materials you need to build for another settlement, you would have to bring that to the settlement on your own by carrying it in your inventory. While that's not an issue, the issue is the workbench listing system. There is a lot of junk and it clutters the list and the workbench. What I mean is this. There is things like coffee cups, right? Coffee cups give you ceramic. The problem is it won't give you that ceramic until the coffee cup is salvaged. So what ends up happening is your workbench is cluttered by a list of coffee cups, office desk fans, fuses, the list goes on. There should have been an auto salvage system in place with the workbench. That way you could get the raw materials from anything you put into that workbench. That would save a lot of time. The questing system itself was either out of place or not efficient. I noticed this when I did the Minuteman nuclear option quest. The marker was in the middle of Boston. It was not at the place that I had to go to. I had to spend at least an hour looking at my strategy guide and Google to figure out where I needed to be. I found that to be very frustrating. The quest marker efficiency was not very good. There was times when the marker would tell me to go to a door or an elevator when I knew that I could jump over a railing or something like that to get to a different door that would get me out of the building in a faster time frame. Character customization, I would have to say, was great. I like that you could customize your character even more so than the last Fallout series. I have no issues with that. The glitches and bugs were rampant. This bothered me quite a bit. My first lesson in glitches was a settlement called Overland Station. I walled this settlement up completely. I left a junk fence at one end of this settlement so that I could get in or out. I was notified that raiders were attacking Overland Station, so I went there. When I got there, the junk fence was closed, and there were raiders all over the place. While I was busy with a group of raiders to my right, a raider on my left was constantly running into the wall. I guess at some point, it ran into the wall long enough that the game glitched out and teleported the raider into the settlement. The raider then threw a grenade at my turrets and ended up destroying them. It destroyed the water pump in the process. I was not happy with that at all. The settlements weren't the only ones with the issue. The grenade system was very buggy in the fact that it had this magical pixel effect. The magical pixel effect is what I call it when I point a grenade over a railing, but it bounces back. This happens because there's a pixel that is still considered part of the railing. So if I do not aim up high enough, I end up hitting that one very small pixel and it counts it as the railing and then bounces it back and kills me. The railings weren't the only issue with grenades. There was times when I would try to throw a grenade down a stairwell or a ramp so that the grenade would land at the bottom, but it never happened. The grenade would bounce off a magical pixel somewhere in the air and then land in an area that I didn't want it to. Bullets had the exact same issue. There was magical pixels happening in between railings or above railings. Trying to fire back at enemies sometimes never happened because your bullets weren't connecting pixel-wise. I found this to be terribly annoying, and I hope that they fix that. The last thing I wish to cover in regards to Fallout 4 is the companions. The companions were not that great. The AI for them was not well done. There was a quest I was trying to do for the railroad that proved this. I was in this building in a battle with synths. I received too much damage and I went behind a wall in another hallway to hide and heal. My companion on the other side of the hallway was behind a wall shooting at the synths. They, for some weird reason, decided that their wall wasn't good enough and that mine was better. They came over to my wall and ended up pushing me out into the hallway and killing me. The companions also had issues with sneaking. There were a lot of times when I was in caution, and my companions decided that caution meant trigger happy. They rushed the enemy and forced me to have to fight. I did not appreciate this trigger happy system because of the fact that being caution didn't always mean that you were detected. Sometimes you could go back to hidden even if you were at caution. So that definitely needs a fix. As far as the romance goes, you could romance companions dependent on your gender. This did not really have an effect on the game. In Fallout New Vegas, I think it was Cassidy Rose or something like that, was a companion that actually ended up on the slides at the end. If you were loyal to her, or whatever you want to call it, there was a slide saying that she was having some fun. In Fallout 4, however, that did not happen. If you romanced a companion, nothing was really mentioned about them. In addition to that, companions required a high level of charisma to even explore the romance option. I romanced Piper on my ending, and this took 10 charisma. I achieved this by putting my charisma to 5. I spent perk points into it, and then I got the charisma bobblehead to make it 6. I used a Reginald suit and a Minuteman general hat to raise it to 10. Those two items are 4 charisma combined total. I did not appreciate that. I think that the companion romance option should have been based on time and choices with the companion. It should not have been based on charisma. Most builds do not focus on charisma, so that whole thing is wasted, I think. I will now finish this recording with my opinion regarding Twitch. Fallout 4 is not the only game to annoy me when it comes to Twitch. There have been other games that do this, so I'm not putting all my blame on Fallout 4. However, they did not help the situation. I mean this because of the fact that I view Twitch as a game community and as a variety entertainment system. There are a bunch of different gamers at any given time on Twitch. Each one has their own unique personality and their own likes or dislikes with games. This gives you a broader perspective on games and, the life of a gamer in general. I think that this variety makes Twitch unique. Because there are so many gamers on Twitch, I kind of view it as a gaming community because it's a bunch of gamers or people who like games or their lifestyle, I guess you could say, on Twitch. I think that games like Fallout 4 and the streamers themselves do not help Twitch at all. I'm not saying everyone is to blame, but I am saying a select few. The reason I blame them is because when you allow Fallout 4 to be streamed early by only the big streamers, then you upset the balance of variety. The big streamers already have enough viewers. All they have to do is put out one tweet and they can instantly get a couple hundred people into their channel. Smaller streamers don't have that luxury. These are people that are struggling to get by in terms of Twitch. They do not get as many viewers. So by supporting these bigger streamers, you make it very one-sided. With these big streamers having early access, then you keep getting the same streamers over and over again, making it to where there is no variety. So it certainly doesn't help when Fallout 4 makes it so that you have to break your back just to get their attention so that you could ask them for permission. They should be reaching out and offering these to smaller streamers. This way they could help these smaller streamers achieve viewers. As far as the streamers themselves, they don't help the issue either by being exclusive. What I mean is this, is there are some streamers who will not help another streamer unless they are in their stream group. This forces a streamer to be part of a stream group just to get help in some cases. Between those streamers and times like this with Fallout 4, it makes me feel like they're treating Twitch more or less like a business rather than what it should be, which is variety and a gaming community. Twitch doesn't help the issue even further by not giving tools to these streamers to get them more noticed. People tell me all the time that you just have to network or get a Twitch retweet group to retweet you. Well, these will only work to an extent. What you need is someone to actually assist you with your stream. What I mean is this, is actually hosting your channel and actually taking the time to sit in your channel. This will not happen most of the time because a lot of the streamers right now are competing for Twitch partnership or trying to maintain their Twitch partnership. I have noticed this myself when I started streaming. Most of the friends that gave me their word that they would help me when I started streaming never showed up. And this is because they're too busy with their partnerships. And when I ask about the situation, either directly to them or another person, they make it seem like that I have to give them something that would make it worth their while to come help me. I think that is really crappy. It falls under what I was trying to say this entire time, is that it's not a business, it's a gaming community, and we should be trying to help each other as gamers. This should not be competition. We should be trying to give viewers the variety that they come looking for when they come to Twitch. And right now, we're not achieving that on Twitch. Right now, we are doing the complete opposite. We're not even a gaming community. right now. We are screwing over what could be a potentially great thing. And that is how I feel about it. That is all I have for today. Thanks if you listen.